Hey students, this is Miss Went, and I just want to go over what you guys are doing today. So at this point, the warm-up for today should be done in Schoology. You should have a paper copy of the lab sheet we're doing. I don't think you're going to need a periodic table much today, but it's always not a bad idea to have it out. You're doing a simulation. If you're having iPad issues, look on with a friend. That's what I got to offer for you. But make sure everybody's working and doing their own paper. If your friend is being lazy, you don't have to let them copy from you. Make them do it themselves. All right. So your lab paper is going to look like something like this. There's a link. You can just Google PhET build a molecule, or you can go to the link in Schoology. And your first kind of question you have here, you don't actually need the worksheet to do. It says how to explain the difference between an element and an atom. Okay, and then think about water. So water here is H2O. This is actually made of two different kinds of elements, two different atoms, right? There's some hydrogen atoms and there's some oxygen atoms, right? So an atom is just one single particle. An element can be millions of those particles, but it's all the same kind of atom, okay? And feel free to use Google to look those up if you need to answer them later. That's perfectly good, okay? But I want to show you what the simulation looks like. So you have this thing called a collection you're going to be doing, and you're going to be building some molecules and compounds, and you've got some information to fill in. So let's go to the website and see what this looks like. Here is the website. If I hit play, it'll run the simulation. And it's slowly working. There we go. And we got some options here. Your worksheet has you start with the single one. Later on, it will tell you to go to multiple and to the playground. But we're going to start here where it says single. And down here, you have buckets of atoms. And if you use the little arrows on the side, you can change what kind of atoms and how many you have. And if you use them all, this little refill button will let you refill stuff too. All right, so your goal on the side here is you want to build all of these things, okay? So the first thing up here it wants us to build is water, H2O. So I've got some atoms here, and if I look at the formula for water, there's a subscript 2 by the H, and there's no number by the O. So that tells me I have 1 oxygen and 2 hydrogen. So I'm going to grab those pieces and pull them up here, 1 oxygen and 2 hydrogen, and I got to stick them together. And the computer is only going to let me stick them together in ways that make sense. All right, now if I don't like how they're stuck together, I can hit this little blue box and they'll come back apart again. Let me try to put the H over here. All right, so there's something about the chemistry about these guys. They don't want to go together. But if I go over here, there we go. There's my water molecule. And you can see over here we had kind of a little flashing thing where it belongs. I can change the view of it and kind of look at those atoms hooked together in different ways of different kinds of models if I want to. But now that I've built this, I'm going to drag this over here. And it fits right in there, and that one is finished. Okay, now the next one I have to build is oxygen, is O2. I only got 1 oxygen down here. But I can go to this little yellow button. I can refill my buckets, and now it's going to let me build an oxygen. I don't need any hydrogens here. I just need 2 oxygens together. Got that here, bring it over. That one's done. Okay. I can do this next one is hydrogen, and I'm just going to do these really fast, and you'll have to do them on your own as well. Now the next one says CO2. I don't have any C's here, but I may have to change. There we go. There's some different kinds of atoms there. And again, it will only let you put them together in ways that make sense. And then I've got some nitrogens here. All right, so now watch what happens. I'm going to put my last one down here, and it says I've completed. Okay, now when I hit next, this is going to disappear. So I want to make sure I write all my info down first if you haven't been writing your info down. So for each box here, I have what's called the chemical formula, H2O, the common name. So if I'm talking to somebody, I would say this is called water. And I've got a little picture here of what it looks like. So if I go back to my worksheet here, my chemical formula was H2O. And I want to make sure I use my capital and my lowercase letters correctly. And I don't have a good, this should be a little number 2. I don't have a good subscript in Smartboard, but that'll do the job right there. Okay. The name of this chemical was water. Let's put that in there. The number of elements. So how many different kinds of atoms did I have? I had H's and O's. So I had 2 different kinds of atoms, or 2 kinds of elements. Sorry about that. But I also have to know how many atoms total I had. And if I look at my formula, there was 2 H's and 1 O. And if I'm not sure, I can look at the picture I made because I know the picture's right. I got 1 red circle and 2 white circles. So that's 3 different atoms to make that chemical there. Okay. And then I have to draw a little sketch of what that picture looked like. And I'm not going to do that on the Smartboard. I'll let you guys handle that right there. Okay. So fill in the information for all of your stuff before you click that smiley face and go to your next one. Okay. Now, if I click next collection here, what it's going to do is just make this stuff disappear. Give me my second group. Okay. And this little arrow here, if I need to go back to collection 1, actually I can cheat and go back and see it, but it's good to write things down as you go. Okay. Now you're going to do collection 1 and collection 2. And the point is for you to kind of get the feeling for how these are put together, what those numbers and subscripts are. You'll also have a collection 3, and it'll go pretty fast once you get rolling. Okay, you'll have a question to answer here. You'll draw a little answer to help answer it. And then on number 5, you're going to change gears, and it says click on the Collect Multiple tab. And then you're going to have a new table. So let's see what that's all about. Okay, so at the bottom here, by the little house, here's the single. Now I'm going to click on the multiple. And what this does, it's putting a big number in front of some of my stuff. And that big number is called a coefficient. Okay, so for example, my first one here says 2 CO2s. All right, well, I don't have any C's in my bucket, so I need to change. Here we go. So here's a C and a CO2. It's blinking at me. I drag it over. Now look, it says my goal was to build 2 of them. I only have 1. I need to build a second one. That's what that 2 in the front means. That I actually need 2 separate CO2s. Drag it over. There we go. It's highlighted. I got my little bell. That is done. All right. So you're going to practice now using these subscripts and still the coefficients to make sure you understand what those numbers mean and you can build the correct things. Right? So that's what you guys are working at today. At the end of your worksheet, you've got a little challenge. Try to make the largest molecule possible that you can build. You can put all kinds of atoms together. It doesn't mean it's an actual real thing that happens in real life. So you're looking for something that the computer actually gives you a name for. Okay, so give it a try. And then when you've kind of given it your best shot, you can hand this paper in and move on to the next thing. Have a great day, guys. If you have any questions, please ask your teachers, and I'll see you tomorrow.